Imagine you're flying high above the Amazon rainforest. One moment, you're looking out the window at an endless sea of green, and the next, the world is pure chaos. This is the true story of Juliane Koepcke, a 17-year-old girl who lived through a nightmare that would become one of the most incredible survival tales ever told. On Christmas Eve, 1971, Juliane and her mother boarded LANSA Flight 508 in Lima, Peru. They were heading to Koepcke to reunite with her father, a renowned zoologist, for Christmas. The flight was routine at first, but soon they flew into a massive thunderstorm. The sky turned black, lightning flashed all around, and extreme turbulence shook the plane violently. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the aircraft's wing. The plane began to disintegrate in midair. Juliane remembered her mother saying calmly, "This is the end." Then she was falling, still strapped to her seat, tumbling through the sky from 2 miles up. Miraculously, she survived the fall. The dense canopy of the jungle cushioned her landing, but when she woke up, she was alone. The silence of the rainforest was deafening, broken only by the hum of insects and the calls of unseen animals. She had a broken collarbone, a deep gash on her leg, and one eye was swollen shut. She was wearing only a torn mini-dress and had lost one of her sandals. All around her was the wreckage of her own life and the lives of 91 others. For the first day, she was in shock, disoriented. She called out for her mother, but only the echo of her own voice answered. The initial shock gave way to a primal instinct: survive. Her parents were biologists who had lived and worked in the Amazon. They had taught her valuable lessons about the jungle. Her father had once told her, "If you're ever lost in the jungle, find a stream and follow it downstream. It will always lead to a larger river, and a larger river will lead to civilization." This piece of advice would become her lifeline. She found a small spring bubbling up from the ground. It was the start of her journey. She began to walk, wading through the water to avoid snakes and spiders on the forest floor. The jungle was a paradox, beautiful and terrifying. Colorful butterflies flitted by, but poisonous frogs hid under leaves. The heat was suffocating, and the humidity was relentless. At night, the temperature dropped, and she shivered, soaked and alone. Her injuries were a constant source of pain. The gash on her arm became infected with maggots. She could feel them squirming under her skin, but she remembered seeing her father treat their dog for the same thing using gasoline. She knew if she could find help, she might be able to treat it. The hunger was gnawing. She hadn't eaten for days. She found a bag of candy from the crash site, her only source of food. Eat, at, to last. Days turned into a grueling routine of walking, waiting, and resting. She saw kingfishers, a sign that the stream was healthy and full of fish, which meant it would eventually lead to a bigger river. She heard the distant sounds of search planes overhead, but the dense canopy made her invisible. Hope would rise and fall with the sound of the engines. She battled despair, hallucinations, and the constant fear of predators like jaguars and crocodiles. She could hear them, but thankfully, never saw them up close. On the 9th day, the stream finally merged into a much larger river, the Shaboya River. She was exhausted, starving, and on the brink of collapse. Her body was covered in insect bites. Her wounds were festering, but her father's words pushed her forward. Following the riverbank was harder, but she knew it was her only chance. Then, on the 10th day, she saw it. A small, moored boat. It felt like a mirage. She stumbled towards it, her heart pounding. Near the boat was a small, primitive hut. It was empty. She was too weak to go on. She crawled up the riverbank and into the shelter, deciding to wait there. It was her last gamble. That evening, she heard voices. 3 local lumbermen were returning to their hut. At first, they were startled, seeing this ghost-like figure covered in mud and blood. They thought she was a water spirit from local folklore. But Juliane, who spoke Spanish, explained what had happened. The men were kind. They cleaned her wounds. Using gasoline from their boat's motor, they extracted dozens of maggots from her arm, just as she had hoped. The relief was immediate and immense. They gave her food and let her rest. The next morning, they took her on a 7-hour journey downriver in their canoe to a small village. From there, She was airlifted to a hospital in Koepcke. When she finally reunited with her father, the moment was overwhelming. She was the sole survivor of Flight 508. Juliane Koepcke's story is not just about surviving a plane crash. It's about surviving the jungle. It's a testament to the power of knowledge, resilience, and the unbreakable will to live. She didn't just get lucky. She used the wisdom her parents had given her to navigate one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Her incredible journey from 2 miles up in the sky, through 10 days of hell in the Amazon, back to civilization, remains one of the most inspiring survival stories of all time. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as incredible as we did, please hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing true stories. See you next time.